Pathways in a vegetable garden can sometimes become a real challenge when they get covered with all kinds of weeds. It becomes even more frustrating when invasive plants like Bermuda grass take over. These weeds don't just make the garden look messy, they also compete with your vegetables for water, nutrients, and sunlight. In this video, we're going to focus on cleaning up our garden pathways and making them nearly impossible for weeds to invade again. Let's jump right into the process and transform those pathways into clean, well-maintained areas that complement the beauty of your garden. The first step is to remove all the weeds from the pathways as thoroughly as possible. The goal is to pull out the weeds with their roots intact so they don't grow back quickly. You might find it easier to do this after a light rain when the soil is softer, making it simpler to remove the entire plant. If you're dealing with stubborn weeds like Bermuda grass, which spreads aggressively through underground runners, you'll need to be extra careful. Use a garden fork or a hand trowel to loosen the soil and make sure you're pulling out the roots, not just the tops of the plants. It's tempting to rush through this step, but taking your time here will save you a lot of effort in the long run. Once the weeds are removed, it's time to block them from coming back. To do this, we'll create a barrier using materials you probably already have at home. Start by laying down a layer of cardboard over the entire pathway. Flatten the cardboard completely and overlap the edges so there are no gaps where weeds can sneak through. If you don't have cardboard, don't worry. You can use old newspapers, magazines, or even worn-out clothes. Just make sure the layer is thick enough to block sunlight, which is essential for preventing weed growth. This layer will also decompose over time, enriching the soil underneath without allowing weeds to take hold. With the cardboard layer in place, the next step is to cover it with a thick layer of mulch. Mulch serves multiple purposes. It helps suppress weeds, retains moisture in the soil, and improves the overall appearance of your pathways. In this case, we're using sawdust, which is an excellent option. But you can also use other materials like dry leaves, straw, pine needles, or even wood chips if that's what you have on hand. The key is to spread the mulch generously. Be sure to spread it evenly so there aren't any thin spots where weeds could find a way through. After applying the mulch, the final step is to sprinkle some water over the entire pathway. This helps the layers settle into place and start working together to form a strong barrier against weeds. The water will also kickstart the decomposition process for the cardboard and mulch, turning them into rich organic matter over time. If you notice the mulch layer starting to thin out over the weeks or months, don't hesitate to add more to maintain the thickness. This will keep your pathways looking clean and weed-free while providing long-term benefits to your garden soil. One of the best things about this method is that it's simple, affordable, and environmentally friendly. You're reusing materials that might otherwise end up in the trash and turning them into something valuable for your garden. Plus, the thick mulch layer not only keeps weeds at bay, but also improves the aesthetic appeal of your garden. Walking on these pathways feels clean and organized, and it creates a pleasant environment where you can focus on tending to your plants without worrying about messy, overgrown paths. This technique works well for all kinds of gardens, whether you have a small backyard space or a larger vegetable garden. It's also a method you can adapt based on what materials you have available. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more gardening advice, please like, subscribe, and check out our other videos.